Thank you so much for joining us today. I got a room full here. So
Okay.
we
Good
are
morning.
we're going to be joined by Timmy Sharp at Shirley Simmons Middle School, Rena Poston at Shirley Simmons Middle School, Jatoria Kirksey and Angela Reed at Old Town, Vicky Parks at Germantown High, and my buddy Greg Morgan at Madison Middle. So before we get into what you do, why don't you tell us exactly where you are and what your title is?
My name is Derrick Everett, and I am a network service manager at the Department of Revenue.
Okay. So, and we'll have, and the people watching now and watching later are all STEM students or computer or ICT computer tech students. And what you do is you are the computer person in the Department of Revenue. And I was just explaining before you got on that does not mean you are a finance expert. That means you are a computer and technology expert. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what a network IT person does?
Okay, well, like Mr. Puggy said, I am in IT, and our systems, although we work for the Department of Revenue and we handle taxes and titles and tags for vehicles, the systems that I am over handles all of those transactions across the state of Mississippi. So the systems that I'm over are responsible for 97% of the general fund, which equates to about $8 billion annually.
Wow. So when it comes to these networks, what type of skills will somebody need to have, and why can we and we've talked about this before, how necessary are these technology skills that they're getting now in middle school and high school?
They're very important. Right now, I have two teams. They're segmented out as a desktop team, and then I have a team that's a network team. The network team, which are those systems that I'm talking about that basically handles the taxes and the titles and tags transactions across the state of Mississippi. The network team handles those. And what we have here, we have what we call Cisco. I don't know if any of the students are familiar with Cisco, but that's what we use for our switching and our servers. Our switching is the network aspect of it, and then our servers are the where we handle operating systems, and the operating systems that we're currently using is Windows Servers 2016.
Okay.
And the skill sets that someone should have, you have to have the technical acumen to troubleshoot. I don't know what units that you have or what have you explained, but we have what we call a VMware. VMware is the software that handles the virtual servers.
Okay. Now you said y'all handle all of the revenue stuff. So how many other companies would be out there looking for people with these skills to work on their networks? Or is it just the Department of Revenue type thing?
Absolutely. Right now, honestly, I'm trying to fill 3 positions because working for the state of Mississippi in IT has been very beneficial for myself and others that have started their career out in state government, working in the IT department. And what I mean by that is a lot of people come in and work for the state of Mississippi in the IT department and get the experience needed to work in the private sector. So when you're going to school or going to college, don't downplay working in the IT department for the state of Mississippi, because some of the same technologies that we are using here, they also use it in the private sector as well. So working for the state government can be very beneficial for your career.
Oh, I agree 100% on that. Now, as far as the IT path, and we've got a couple questions here. And can you talk a little bit about what college programs or maybe what community college programs will be necessary? Because I know you are a graduate of Alcorn State University,
That's correct.
but what are some other avenues that somebody could get into this field if maybe they weren't a college person, they want to do the community college route, or if they wanted to go want to go the university route? Because we're really hitting on that really hard in the district, and we want to get as much information as we can out there, even starting in 7th grade for some of these kids.
Right. Community college route, 4-year university route is very beneficial. They both have IT programs. Now, I'm on the infrastructure side. I mean, when I say infrastructure side, hardware side, we also have developers on the application side that do the development of the applications. And that's typically a computer science major at universities like Alcorn State University, Jackson State University, Hines, Holmes. So actually an employee that just left here, he actually had a 2-year degree from Holmes Community College. So state government, I mean, working in the state, they will hire students right out of community college with a 2-year degree, because technology is a little bit different from some of your other majors because it's more related to work experience more so than it is to having a degree. But the degrees are required, but also there are a little leeway where you can get your foot get in the door with a 2-year degree. Okay.
Now, and we have, as far as our STEM and our ICT curriculum, we really hit on the engineering design process. Now, even on the IT side of that, a lot of these students get frustrated when they don't get stuff right the first time. So how much trial and error is involved in technology work?
Well, it's more attention to detail than anything. You have to pay attention to detail, and this is a detail-oriented profession, and I've been doing it for 18 years. So you have to have a sense of focus and a sense of drive as well to be able to deal with certain issues that come up, and that's what I mean by having a technical acumen. You know, you have to be able to troubleshoot. When you're starting out in your career, I mean, you got to realize that technology is continually changing. So what you were taught in STEM class, or what you were taught when you go into college, the technology that you were taught then most likely won't be there when you start your career, and then it's continual change. So always be in the mode of being able to learn and continue to perfect your craft. But there's no need to get frustrated. It's just paying attention to detail and knowing what you do, and being well documented. Documentation is the key as well too. Make sure you make notes when you're I don't know if you're programming, make notes at that particular statement and what it's supposed to do, know what it's supposed to do, and know what it's doing at the same time. And that's the key to troubleshooting. You either got two things. It's either doing something different, or what is it not doing, or what is it doing? And you need to know what it's supposed to do in order to troubleshoot.
Oh, absolutely. Now, one thing that we also have, and I know I can speak for all the teachers that are going to watch this now and watching later, is that a lot of these kids, they just want to use the Apple programs. They just want to use the iOS operating system. How important is it to be well versed not only in the iOS, but also in the Windows and the other operating systems that are out there? Even if you're not an expert, how important is it to get that technology experience now in multiple systems?
Very important. I am an Apple fan, by the way. I'm currently using my iPad. So, but at the same time, here at the office, we use Windows. So you have to be well versed in those different operating systems, because, like myself, I mean, I'm using 2 different platforms. So you need to be able to know your way around all the platforms, because you never know what you might be faced with. We have people here that use iOS or Macs or whatever, and we got to be able to troubleshoot multiple platforms. So it's very important.
Yeah, and that's what I really want everybody watching now, watching later to understand is that, it's important in any industry to be versed in multiple platforms. And even as a teacher, I have to know multiple software programs. And no matter what field you go into, the IT skills are going to be there in any field. Just like you said, the way the technology is changing in America now. Now, can you talk a little? And again, we're going back to the college thing. Can you talk a little bit about the program you went through at Alcorn to be trained for what you're doing?
Sure. Well, I started college in 1998. I graduated high school in '98. So I went to Alcorn, and I was one of the first students to take this major, majoring in industrial technology, and specialize in computer networking. And I'm currently working in that field. I graduated in 2003, and it was more related to the infrastructure side, hardware side of it. Now, I started out majoring in computer science, but computer science is more geared towards the application development side of IT. And I knew I didn't want to be an application developer because I like to interact with people and I like to get my hands dirty. But once this major, once they started this major at Alcorn State University, I knew that was a perfect fit for myself. So it's dealing with servers, LDAP, lightweight directory access protocol, where I don't know, you guys are probably using Office 365.
Yeah.
That's right. And that when you log in, that's using Microsoft Active Directory. So do a lot of system administration, a lot of hardware administration as well too.
So, and it's like you said, you were a hands-on person. So if somebody has that technical skill, but they want to be a person that's hitting the switches and putting things back together, this could be a good field to get into, because not just the state of Mississippi, pretty much every big company, because I know you have some private sector experience as well, every big company is going to be looking for people with these skills, even more so now than ever.
Correct. You're not going to go anywhere. Every single company, although it might not be an IT company, every single company has an IT department. I mean, It is what it is. I mean, IT now is the foundation of every single company out there. So don't downplay any single company. They have an IT department, and they are going to be looking for people to fill those positions. I mean, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, and it's just and before you got on, we were talking about as many people have to be paid, as many transactions that have to be done, and then on the retail side, as many orders that have to be filled and shipped to the correct place. All of that involves IT pros that cannot mess up.
Correct.
But I do want to get to some of these questions, and some of these are really good. And some this one is from Alonzo Johnson, who's a ninth grader, and this is a really good question that I never thought of to ask you. But he said, "How often do you have to fight off hackers?"
Every single day. Security is its own separate department in IT. We have a security department, and to be honest, security pays a lot of money. I mean, you have to trust the systems that you have in place, and make sure that they're patched and know what vulnerabilities that come out there daily. Their vulnerabilities come out daily. I get emails every single day of vulnerabilities of certain applications. Now, we may not have some of those applications, but those applications that we have, when I see those vulnerabilities come out saying that, hey, here's multiple vulnerabilities, I forward it on to my staff to see what we have in place, what we currently have in place. Are those protecting us against hackers? And if not, what do we need to do, or what do we need to put in place to make sure we protect it against hackers? Now, keep in mind, like I said, we're responsible for 97% of the general fund, which is about $8 billion. So yes, people are trying to hack us every single day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money at stake. This is Trevion Blackman. He's also a ninth grader. And he asked, what influenced you to get into this field?
I knew I wanted to be in IT ever since I was in high school, actually. Um, Kid from the inner city. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I went to Lanier High School. I just knew this was something I always wanted to do, is be in the IT field. Uh, Not sure why, but it may have been an instructor or a teacher in high school that basically influenced me to go this way. But I knew ever since I got into high school that I wanted to be in this field, and it's been very successful uh, career that I've had.
That's awesome. Uh, Now, I've asked you this question before, and I love your answer to this, but this is Jay Ashton Williams, who's also a ninth grader. And he asked, what would happen if the server goes down?
What would happen if the servers go down? So if the servers go down for about, I think it says about approximately 24 hours, if we have an issue with the servers, the governor of the state of Mississippi have to issue a state of emergency.
So it's in everybody's best interest that the servers at the Department of Revenue not go down.
That is correct. That is correct.
So that could be a financial disaster for the state of Mississippi. So again, that also goes to show the importance of what you guys do and the importance of that skill that is needed throughout the entire country.
Absolutely.
This is Kamiria Smith. She's one of our basketball players. She's in ninth grade, and she's asking, what is something you wish you could be better at in your job?
The development side of it. I shouldn't have shied away from it. Now, keep in mind when I say the development side of it, I still have to do scripting, which is a form of development. Or say for instance, the Cisco switch. It has command line features, which is a form of development. But I think I should have did a little bit more development in your different languages out there. So if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely did a little bit more application development.
Now, and you talk about the language, just to be clear for maybe some of the ones that don't know, you're talking about programming languages. And I'm a novice myself because I know there's a few of them out there. There's Java and Python, and I can't do all the top of my head, but even just the basic coding and basic programming, how needed is that in these technical fields?
Very important. Developers get paid a lot of money because I mean I'm sure that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a career in the IT field and how much money they make. But yeah, I'm actually dabbling in a little bit of Python myself because we can use it to do certain things from a system administration standpoint that helps us out on a day-to-day basis ourselves. So I mean I'm still dabbling in it, but I just use it from a perspective of to help us out in day-to-day system administration tasks that we have going on each day.
Okay. And this is Amaya Dixon, also a ninth grader. And she asked, how much pressure or responsibility do you feel when something goes wrong and there's not a backup?
There's never, ever not a backup. I can promise you that. So yeah, that's part of the having a good foundation is from IT department is always having backups and having a disaster recovery site. We call it a DR site or colo site. But yeah, there's never ever not backups. So
yeah, well, again, with $8 billion at stake, I don't think that'd be a good idea either. I mean, that'd be
right.
a catastrophe. And I just got one more for you, and I appreciate you making the time for us today. I know you're really busy and you got a lot going on, but and I've asked you this before, but with like everybody in this room, you've grown up Black in Mississippi. You grew up in West Jackson, but you turned that into a extremely successful career. So with everybody else in this room that looks like you, what can they do, even if it's not in IT? What can they do to have a path that's similar to yours?
Hey, just stay the course. Listen to your parents. I mean, because I know a lot of times that we disagree with our parents. I know I did when I was coming up, and just realize that you don't have to be a product of the environment that you come from. A lot of times when people find out that I'm from the inner city and where I went to school at, I went to Lanier High School. When they find that out, they can't believe it. But again, I'm proud of where I came from. I don't shy away from it, although I don't live in the city of Jackson. But when people ask me where I'm from, I always go back and say, hey, I'm from the city of Jackson. Uh, that's just, it is what it is. And always be proud of where you come from and always stay the course and do what you supposed to do. And that's get an education and be successful.
Yeah, and it's like I tell these all the time. Even if you're frustrated, with your situation, nothing changes until you change it. Me and you can only do so much. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Stay the course. Remember where you came from, and I think you're living proof that the great things can happen no matter where you come from.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh, it's no problem. But that's all we had. I appreciate you making the time for us today. Some great answers to some questions. If I have any other questions come in from anybody later, I'll make sure to pass those along to you.
Sure.
All
And
right.
I'm glad to be here. And anytime you feel free to get in contact with me, I'll be glad to jump on, guys.
All right. I appreciate it. I will see you Friday.
Thank you. See you Friday.
See you.